All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Yeah.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this podcast forever, and this is the worst damn podcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo'S Wrestling Room, Monday, April 1st, 2024. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez and Marcus Fine. How's it going, guys?
Great. Going real good. Had a really good weekend of wrestling. And,
Long weekend.
and
Another long weekend of wrestling.
I've watched all kinds of wrestling today. I watched WrestleMania 6. I watched the Bray Wyatt interview. Been watching the CM Punk interview that I think people are going to go crazy about because he come out and told a lot about AEW, told a lot about how he got back in WWE. Pretty interesting stuff. Matter of fact, I still got to finish it.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that as well.
But watched last night. Watched the Roman Reigns doc, and I liked it. I know Mark is not a fan of it, or at least what he's seen of it. We'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. Okay, guys, we've got our independent wrestling report. Marcus, I'll let you start that off because you had a show Friday night.
Yep, Friday night. WCW at the Outlaw Arena. Not a bad show. We're guessing 50 maybe, but they were good, and we did see some new faces. So I think a lot of people's at Squared Circle, to be honest with you, but we did have some new people at the Dub on Friday, Comic-Con people. So
yep, that's good.
We'll see what happens this week. But anyhow, Cousin Cooter defeated the WCW Territorial Champion Kenneth James in a non-title match. Pogo defeated Too Loud Timmy Jackson. Max Sterling defeated Will Asher. And then Reggie came out and brought out TJ Powers and Itch and took the belts back off of them and told them they didn't win it since it was a six-man tag type thing. And so he put the belts back on Jackson, Morgan, and Phoenix. Then he told TJ Powers, you have a match, and it's now. And he beat War Ready Maliko. Brody Bawkins defeated Damon Ace to retain the WCW Gunslinger title. It's the first time I think I've ever seen Damon Ace, but he's really good. Ruthless Domination versus the tag team champions of Jackson, Morgan, and Phoenix ended in a double DQ. They were literally just fighting everywhere. Main event, WCW Outlaw Champion Hidari defeated David Light in a non-title match. So, not a bad show.
Okay, next show up we can all talk about. We was all there, and that was the Bearcat Rumble on Saturday night.
You sure you was there?
I was there.
All right. Marcus was there.
Yeah, Marcus got an award.
I was there.
Thank everybody for that too, or everybody.
Well, some people wasn't there, so I was just wondering.
There was some missing people.
I know who you're talking, and when we go off the air, I will explain what I know.
Okay.
If that's who I think we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
So yeah,
we Billy Buzz and Warren Misery and Justin Danger.
Is that Billy?
Guys.
Justin. Warren. But yeah, everybody, Kelly and I did get the Dave Schultz Award this year, and we're very honored for that. So
That was very cool. I did know about it ahead of time. I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell Chris.
I couldn't tell if Chris was pulling my leg or if he really didn't know, but evidently he really didn't know. So
No, I didn't know.
But I tell you, I thought they put off a real good show. I still don't know about the numbers. I'm going to say, what did Kelly think on the numbers? Or I know she normally.
I think she said it was between 3 and 4, probably closer to the high 3, mid to high 3.
I know on the floor there's 125. I know that, and then that sold 300 pre-sale. So and I know some, so I'm gonna say close to 4. It could have been even a little over 4. I mean, it just with the bleachers holding so many people,
and they are all scattered out. They're not.
It's hard to say, but I'm gonna say real close to that 400, give or take. It could have been 420, it could have been 380. That type of thing.
Right around in there.
I thought they did well. I tell you what, it's definitely one of the best shows I've seen this year, if not the best. I don't know. I've been going back between. I've got 3 shows now that I'm going back and forth. One I seen at Comic-Con, which you didn't get to see, and then of course the other DCCW show we've seen this year is the 3 shows that are really I'm kind of fighting over right now for my show of the year.
And then I have Brody's show and Marion to throw in my loop.
Yes.
So there's a.
But here real quick, I've got the results for that. It started off Ladari against Hoss Huxley, and I thought it was an outstanding match. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good match to start off with. Everybody, about every crowd we go to loves Ladari. He gets the crowd going. I thought the match was really, really good and really enjoyed it. What do you guys think?
Well, I agree. That's like the 3rd or 4th time I've seen Hoss here in the last 2 weeks, and he's good. And putting him up against, I actually think he was bigger than Hidari. Not by much, but I actually think he was taller and a little beefier. So it was good seeing battle the big men that knew how to work.
Yeah, when I saw it was them 2 together to kick off the show, I thought that it was going to be a good match to kick the show off with, because we got to see Huxley at Comic-Con. It was the first time I'd seen him, and he was impressive there. And then because he wrestled Congo there, another big man. And so when I found out it was going to be them 2, I was excited about it. It lived up to the expectations.
Billy Buzz is asking Marcus, what is the David Schultz Award again?
It's an award that DCCW gives out to normally like an amateur-based wrestling figure. Was that the right word, Tony? Figure. Somebody that's been involved in the amateur wrestling business somehow.
Yeah, I got it last year, and it was for what I did with sports in general, but it was wrestling and also baseball and stuff. I think they're just giving it to people that support, community stuff and things like that, and you doing all the shows that you do and giving back, trying to shine a big light on the sport of independent wrestling. I think that's why you got it.
Right. And then there was 2 of us.
Yes.
But the other family couple was not there. I think it was a couple, Terry told me, that was more based around the amateur wrestling part of it, but they were unable to attend. So there's actually 2 of those that was given out this year. Kelly and I happen to be one, and we're very honored with that. So.
Okay, the next matchup, we had Logan Myers versus Rachel Armstrong. I thought that was a real good match. I really enjoyed it. Of course, Marcus, you had a little history there with the guy that came out.
Yes, it was good to see. It was good to see Quicksilver, a legend, one of the very few remaining ones that actually was trained by Dick the Bruiser. I know there's a lot of them out there that work with Dick the Bruiser or for him, but they actually been trained by Dick the Bruiser. I'm thinking he might be one of the very last ones out there.
Really?
And his brother was there, legend referee also, Kim Goldsby, who refereed some of the matches, and of course Wayne Silver, which is Quicksilver's son and Kim's nephew. But it was good to see the legends in there. Come in there.
I agree. And I thought that was a real good match. I thought the crowd really enjoyed it too. Chris, what did you think of that match?
Well, it was a real good match. It was we haven't seen a whole lot of Rachel or Logan here lately because they've been doing a lot. Excuse me, a lot of stuff out of state and more. So we haven't seen them around as much. So it was nice getting to see them too. And then I knew them two together was going to be a good match.
Yep.
Was disappointed didn't get to see the 450 splash.
Well, she would have done it if Quicksilver hadn't interfered.
Yep, that's true.
If it wasn't for Dame Quicksilver.
I know when Austin come up to me at intermission, he says, "Man, I wanted to see her do that 450." He wanted to see it too. So
yep, he did. Okay, next up we had IK3 versus Dalton Love. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. I would probably say you guys would probably think that was match of the night. I know I did. It was outstanding. Seen some things I've never seen before, and they were all over that place. Plus, they also wrestled a great match in the ring when they was in the ring.
I got to the ring.
It's definitely one of the matches I have down as a possible match of the year. I thought it was outstanding.
You know, and I've never seen a Rubbermaid table. I think those are Rubbermaid tables.
Yeah.
But they've been it, but they didn't go through it. But yeah, I hate to think the recipients of either one of those hitting that solid table like they did. Because they're used to tables going given.
Yes.
And that table didn't give, so
not much. It Bennett. That was about it.
Yeah, I never thought that's how they were going to use the table. I figured it was just going to get set up in the corner and get thrown up against it or something like that, where it could bounce with the ropes. I never thought that it was going to be he was going to be laid out in the table and get frog splashed on. That was not what I was expecting at all. But it was an awesome match. Them two put on a hell of a show.
Yes, Justin, he was throwing bricks. He was throwing some punches.
Yes, he was.
IK3 was, but he's been doing that lately. Period. But he was really throwing them. Whew. That was one hell of a match. I really enjoyed it,
and the crowd was into it.
Yes.
I mean, it was well done.
I really enjoyed it. Next up, we had the Rumble, and we had a surprise winner, Atticus Bradley. His dad helped him win it, and then he screwed over AJ, and he became the champ. So Rumble was entertaining. It was fun.
Have to give it to the other, because they did have one other of the Muncie Central wrestlers get in there, and he held his own really well against some of those guys.
Yeah. He wasn't afraid, was he?
Yeah.
He was not afraid. That's for sure.
I was impressed with what he was doing. It's like, so yeah.
His pin pan was strong.
yeah, he did have a strong pin pan. he wasn't throwing chops. He was throwing backhands.
Yeah.
But hey, it was working. Then we had an intermission, and then we went to Brody Botkins and Michael Elgin. I thought that was a fantastic match, guys. Mm-hmm. I loved that match. It was real close to the match of the night. I really enjoyed it. It was a different type match. It's not a fast-paced match, but it just really good wrestling in the ring. And Michael Elgin's outstanding, but I think Brody Botkins is as good as any big man out there in the Midwest.
You know, whereas you had IK3 and Dalton being fast-paced, those guys slowed it down. But boy, it was solid with the punches and the moves they were using, and so it shows you don't have to jump off the ropes to do entertaining matches. You can also have an actual brawl, and that's kind of what that one was. And so, sorry, Chris.
Elgin, no, you're fine. Elgin showed off some of his power too during that match.
Yeah, he body slammed him.
Yeah,
it took him 4 times, but he done it.
And then belly to back off when he was up on the ropes.
Yeah,
off the ropes.
It was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. From there, we had a really, really good 6-man tag. Dex Royal in the highlight reel against Christian Cash, Zay Gates, and Jackson Morgan. And I tell you what, man, that was a nonstop action match, and it was right up there too as a match of the night candidate.
There's a weird combination for Morgan, Cash, and Gates.
But
and Morgan and Gates didn't seem like they were thrilled about being Cash's partner.
Well, would you be?
That's true.
Have you ever talked to him?
Unfortunately, quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I love Christian, but it was a fun match too. So it had some little comedy in it, but man, it was fast. It was hard hitting. It was really good.
And Christian held his own with those guys.
Oh yeah.
I mean, after he got over the okay, well, they're not going to be my friends. Well, now I'll just be an asshole. And he went in there and he held his own with Gets Dex and the highlight guys. So I was impressed.
Yeah, I thought it was a really. If I had a complaint on that match, I would like to have been a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had a complaint, but it was really good. Then we had our main event, which was Joey Owens, his tag team partner, normal tag team partner was not there. The tag team, so he went up against the James Gang by himself. Atticus got involved and did a double turn, and we had a couple of matches, but Joey won both of them. So I don't know if the belts were officially on the line or not, but Joey won both of them. So I guess it don't make a difference if the belts was on the line or not. Not a good night for the James Gang.
No.
But I thought it was a real good show. It's like I said, it's right up there as one of the best I've seen. So I really enjoyed it. Thought they did a great job, and they got another show coming up, DCCW coming up in April, if I remember right. It's April 20th at the Boogeyman coming to Jay County for the fifth one, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's coming up soon. So I think that's going to be a good show. And then me and Chris went to Warrior Pro Wrestling yesterday and seen a really good show. I thought it was really solid. Different, if comparing the two shows, different, definitely. This was definitely more storyline driven. Thought it was a solid show. We had Gates and Gordon, the tag team, going up the tag champs, Ruthless Domination. Ruthless Domination won that match. Then we had Cecil Cerveza against Buck Sexton. I thought Cecil had got the job done, but that rotten Tyler Scott came in and interfered and
ran around the ring like a
ringing the bell.
Buffoon ringing that damn bell.
Yeah, Chris, that was hurting Chris's ears. They're earphones, because wearing them earphones, and somebody just running around the ring hitting that damn bell. Yeah, I think Chris wanted to give him an insecurity, I think, but yeah, it cost Cecil the match, so Buck got the win there. Then we had a number one contenders match for the Warrior Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Jared Kripke, T.Y. Ice, and J.B. And J.B. pulled off that victory, so he'll be going up against
the triple threat for he'll go against Jesse Winchester
for the Warrior Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship at the next show. Then from there we had Brody Bodkins versus Mikael Murphy, and that was probably I'd say at least a 200-pound difference. At least.
Well, I think it'd be more than that.
Probably more.
Probably more
I was trying to be nice, but yeah, probably 250.
Nice.
At least 250, probably.
75. I mean,
yeah, but he.
What the hell have you decided to worry about being nice?
Well, it's got to happen at least once a week for a couple minutes, and then the rest I'm a heel. Don't be giving away my secrets. But anyway, Mikael put up a pretty good fight, but Brody, it was just too much for him. And then we had from there we had Tyler Scott versus Kobe Jack, and Cecil got a little revenge. He cost Tyler Scott the match. He come out with a cowbell. I don't know why he didn't go get the bell, but he come out with a cowbell and distracted Scott, which it don't take too much to distract Tyler. So Tyler got rolled up and lost that match. So Kobe Jack won that match. And then in the main event, Indiana's best heel, in my opinion, Jeremy Hadley, took on Jake Carter. I think it ended up, as far as I know, as a DQ.
Yeah.
The referee got
Carter won by disqualification.
Yes, because of Buck Sexton, who did commentary on that last match, and he came in the ring and beat the heck out of the ref and 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I got a bone to pick with you, Marcus. You don't show up, I get left having to do commentary with Buck Sexton and David Lee.
well, I thought David was good. And your dad. Oh, you did get screwed, did you?
I went over and sat with Warren Misery. And sat over there with the king of the world over there next to.
Oh yeah, Glenn wins everything. Wins the VIP seat.
He's over there, got his feet up and eating pizza and drinking cokes we was teasing him earlier today on our earlier show. We was teasing him, surprised he even shared that pizza with a friend. He said
he didn't even offer a piece of pizza. No, he didn't offer us
a slice.
Well, I'll be here on him.
And he wins everything. Well, I said right before they said they was doing a drawing, I said, you watch, Glenn's going to win this. They said the numbers, and Glenn said, here we go. I said, see?
Hey, I called JB was going to win.
You did. You predicted JB was going to win. You certainly did. Yeah, see, Warren said he was right next to him the whole time, and he didn't get offered any. He was sitting right next to him when he won. And then
he left Warren sitting over there by himself.
He said, F you, Warren. I'm going over here and relax. Okay, guys. Next up, we got our independent wrestling top 5. And
hang on. I have JICW.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry, Marcus. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. Because thanks to our good buddy Roger Moore, who was down at JICW in Martinsville. From what I'm understanding, they had the biggest crowd they've had in 2 years, and
awesome.
So they're just getting better all the time themselves. The action down there saw Storm Grisson defeat Carrie Jean Brody to retain the JICW Ladies title, and Storm will now take on Ari Alexander on the 13th of April. Casey Grim Santos defeated Saul Marston. Max Sterling defeated Damon Jackson. Avery Hertz defeated AZK. The American Rednecks, Tyler Bodine and Big Thomas Moore defeated SWO. Ace Roberts defeated Austin Ryan, and I think they have a hardcore match now on the 13th. Johnny Scratch defeated 5-Count Frank. Aaron Antlis did defeat Derek Fullerton to retain the JICW title. And then Tyler Lee Deputy with our good buddy Mortimer Blankenship III defeated Tyler Scott to become the new JICW Light Heavyweight Champion. And that rematch will also take place on the 13th. So thank you, Roger, for those.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Roger.
Yeah, Billy. Yeah, he told me at intermission yesterday that you had sent him a text, told him I was wanting a piece of the pizza, but he said by the time you texted him, he'd already ate it all.
He ate it all. I'm not going to read that until I eat all this.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start off with the pro wrestling top 5, and it was tough this week for me, but I had 2 that I wanted to mention as honorable mention. That's Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland for AEW. I think they're doing a real good job for them. Next up, my number 5 position, I give it to Becky and Rhea Ripley, who are really doing a good job of heating up their match for WrestleMania. My number 4 was Seth Rollins. My number 3 was Drew McIntyre. My number 2 is Cody Rhodes. And my number 1 is The Rock. The Rock has been on fire as of late, I think doing really big things for them. So I give him the number 1 for right now. And so next up is our independent wrestling top 5.
McAfee's still been asking people if they saw what The Rock done to Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, he every guess he has. He asked every. He told me if the person probably don't even know what wrestling is, and he's asking, "Did you see what Rock did to Cody Rhodes?" It's funny. Some of them know, but some of them don't. Okay, Chris, you want to go first?
I can.
Okay.
Number 5, I have Dalton Love. Number 4, I went with Cameron Saturn. Number 3, Hidari. Number 2, Zay Gates. And number 1, IK3.
We almost got the exact same list, Chris. Except we got one. I know. Except we got one position. Marcus is going to be a lot different. We didn't talk about it at all. Yeah, Mark's going to be a lot different because he's seen a lot of different shows than we've seen, because we've seen so many shows at the at Comic-Con and stuff. So my number 5 was Cameron Saturn. My number 4 was Dalton Love. My number 3 was Hidari. My number 2 was Zay Gates. And my number 1 was IK3. So we only had one position, switch. So, and I'm interested to see Marcus, because like I said, Marcus seen a lot of different matches than we did.
All righty. Well, my number 5 was Dalton Love because of his performance Saturday against IK3, still the champ. Okay, a lot of title changes. I always like to try to put my top 5s as new champs. Number 4, Travis Southern, who became the new AACW champion, defeating Christian Cash. I had Damian DeVille, who had to take on literally the entire Cult X group and won the EEC championship. There we go. We'll do it the first time.
Okay.
So Damian DeVille is that. Justin Danger, my friend, went through the tournament, wrestled Comic-Con, wrestled the The Dub wrestled in FEW, wrestled AACW, all over the place.
He
But
deserves to be champion. He got the hell beat out of him.
but 7 matches. Some of that was brackets, and is the new AACW US champion. In fact, it's the inaugural one, so he's the first one of those. Number 1, Brody Botkins defeated Zay Gates to become the Gunslinger champion in a hardcore match. He took on Michael Elgin this past weekend. You seen that? Yes.
Brody was the next one on my list.
So that's my top 5.
Yep. I think all the guys that we had, all three of us very deserving. So, and a bunch of great wrestlers out there that could be on that list. So, next up, subject I wanted to bring up. I'm not sure you got to see all of it yet or not. I think Marcus did. I want to talk a little bit of the ending of Raw last Monday night with the Rock, and because it was so different than what they had been doing. Actually, the fact that Cody bled, and it wasn't your normal bleeding. It was one that it was a planned bleeding, and that's something that
you could tell it was a planned bleeding
that WWE doesn't do. They usually don't do the blade job. So usually, if you bleed, you've really gotten busted open. So that was interesting. Marcus, what do you think of that?
I gotta remember. I thought the beating up at the end was really good. Being out in the rain, them fighting out in that rain, and Cody didn't get any offense at all. And then Rock's over there bad mouthing him, and he goes back over, and then you could tell what Cody had done. I don't know if the rain hindered that. If it hadn't been raining on him, you wouldn't see that he gashed himself. But now I'm trying to remember the interview. Tell me more about the interview, because that was before while they were still in the arena.
Well, when it started, the show started, he come out, and Rock just comes up to Cody, and he says something after his entrance.
That's right.
And walks out. But if you go back and watch that, you can read his lips, and he tells him, you don't notice it till you go back. He tells him, I'm going to make you bleed, and walks away.
So
and then he did, So a lot of people are comparing it to the Attitude Era. What do you think, Marcus?
I agree. I think Rock brought a little bit of the Attitude Era back.
Well, I saw of it. Kind of did had that more edgier feel to it that you don't see as much in WWE nowadays. It had that old kind of like that. Yeah, like I go with that Attitude Era, the old like edgier feel. I haven't seen all of it, but I saw all of it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was real good. But
they're never going to go back.
You haven't seen him get push that edge a little bit, like that much, and so I thought it was a nice change up.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to go more to that. They're never going to get back to the complete Attitude Era. They can't do that. They're a public traded company, but I think they're going to start hugging that line more and stepping over every now and then. And I think it'll make for edgier program, and I think that's smart. Okay, next up, I was going to bring up, because I know you guys haven't seen it, so I was going to bring up a couple of things. First thing was the Roman Reigns documentary. I really enjoyed it. I know Marcus seen the first half of it, and he didn't care for it, but I wish he'd go back and maybe check the second half of it out. We'll see. He's not a Roman Reigns fan.
I put all things aside. It was not like the other. It's not like they presented the other ones where they actually they kept him in character a lot. Yep. And it's like, this is more of a
but you say that, Marcus, but they all say that the reason he's successful now is that's him. That's Joe. That he before, when they was trying to get him over, and he was trying to be a character. When he came back and got successful, it was when they let him be himself. They said that his cousin said that you don't see Roman now, you see Joe. Joe's always been a dick. and
well then.
And they said that's him. But when you hear him talk about the business and how much he loves the business and how much he loves his family, there's a part of it where he talks about, I forgot the fact that he's not full Samoan.
No, he's part Italian or Sicilian.
Yeah, his mom is Sicilian. His mom's not Samoan. So he said, I always got looked at different. He said, because I wasn't full-blooded Samoan. He said, you do. He said, you're treated different. You're different. And he said that, finally here in the spot, and it's all real to him. And then the fact that he helped Jay and Jimmy, he said, when we decided to do this, my goal was to make Jimmy and Jay bigger. Anybody we work with, we want to do our best to make the business the best it can be. And I thought it was really interesting. I think Roman's a lot better worker than what people give him credit for.
Oh, no,
And now that's not necessarily his moves and stuff, but his facial expressions. I think the pandemic really helped him. I think it really did. But I thought it was interesting. The next thing was the Bray Wyatt documentary, which I know neither one of you have seen. I highly recommend it. I thought it was really good. And it did give a little tease at the end, so I'm going to kind of spoil it a little bit because I don't know if it's sure going to happen. But it's definitely a tease that looks like Bo Dallas, his brother's going to be coming back in some way and going to be doing something. It definitely teased it. And there was a lot of stuff in there in that documentary has never been seen before. Most of the footage that they used had never been seen before. So it's really a lot of cool stuff. Really well done. Also very sad. They talk to the family a lot. The mom, the dad, the wife, the ex-wife, the brother. You know, it was very good. Very well done. Next up, Chris, I didn't even mention this to you. You may help me with his name a little bit because I'm probably going to butcher it. She won the Olympics in 2021. Would have been 2020 normally, but because of the pandemic and stuff, it started late. Tamara Menza Stock. You remember who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She's a female wrestler.
Yeah, I can't remember
She won the Olympics in wrestling, and WWE noticed her because she was so good, and not just athletically, just her personality and the way that the fans took to her. And they contacted her, and she's been training, and she made her debut match at a live event for NXT in Melbourne, Florida last night. And I've been reading a lot of reports on her that they think she's doing a fantastic job in training and stuff. So I think we could be seeing another star.
Yeah, she was pretty muscled up too.
Pretty muscled up.
But yeah,
but she had that. I mean, it looked like she had it as far as personality goes. And I actually think the person that brought it to their attention was Stephanie McMahon. I think she watched the Olympics, and I think she's the one that did the contacting. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Next up, just want to give everybody a reminder. Tonight's the last Raw before WrestleMania. The first hour is commercial free. So I think they got a lot of big stuff planned for tonight. So it might be worth the watch. And the last thing I wanted to talk about before I got a bracket for us is I just got to see probably 3/4 of it. And I read about the CM Punk interview with, can you help me with that name? Ariel Helwani? Helwani? Okay.
Or
Helwani, whatever the hell.
It's I think it's actually Helwani, but some people call him Helwani.
Helwani, okay. He does a lot of UFC stuff. I tell you what, I think this interview
when he's not fighting with Dana White.
Yeah, and
haven't had that for a while.
or Tony Khan. Tony Khan hates him. I was going to bring that up. I think that
Warren calls him a WWE homer.
Take this one.
What are you going to talk about, Chris? Because that was his topic.
Did he trip it over shit? Man, he's going to tear the room up trying to get out.
I guess come up with a subject because that was his topic.
Yeah, take over. Let's see what you got written down over here. I haven't watched it yet, so I can't say a whole lot about the interview because I saw it was on YouTube earlier and was like, oh, that's something I'm gonna have to check out because I'll be interested to see what Punk had to say about everything, but I haven't seen any of it yet. I will watch. I got a lot of shit to try to catch up on. Also have like 12 Comic-Con shows still to try to get posted. I have. So it's choke me. Hey, you know it's there. It's what you tell me about that damn stool out back there.
That's true.
You know it's there.
That's true. That stool's been there for a lot longer than that's been there. Damn it to hell. Okay. Now, I watched the interview, and I think it was planned by the WWE. What are you laughing about?
We're laughing that you started a topic, ran out of the room, and we're supposed to okay, how are we supposed to continue on? And then you come in like
what are you
nothing
guys talking
happened.
about?
Yeah, you came back in, started a fight right where you left
Well,
off.
hell, what am I don't know what you're talking about. So what the hell am I supposed to do? Okay, what was you guys talking about?
No, go ahead. It was just funny because you came right back in and like just picked
well.
up like you never stopped.
I don't know what else I'm supposed to do.
Billy wants to know what we got to do to get you in that ring.
There ain't nothing. Bribe my wife.
Yeah,
That's about it.
we had 3 of the Mexican jumping beans. All of them were in the arena on Saturday, and not a one of them walked to that ring.
I think we could talk Austin into it.
We could have had
He's
a
not real
triple
bright. I think
threat
we can
6-man tag team going on. You could have been in there with, I don't know, you guys want to be in there with those other 2 teams, but
No, I don't. No, Joey killed me. Ain't no way.
I'm not talking
Joey
Joey.
went
I'm
in
talking
the
Dex for highlights.
No, I don't want to be in the ring with them either.
Jackson.
And I definitely don't want to be in the ring with Jackson Morgan.
I thought he was your buddy.
We're getting along. I wouldn't go that far.
Earlier he said he was his buddy, didn't he? Vargas?
No, I didn't say I didn't say he wouldn't kill me still. You've been around him. Look at him in the ring. He kills everybody. Hell with that. Can I go on now? Okay.
It's your show.
Is there anything I need to know?
No, I'm on borrowed time anyway. I only got a few months, so I'm gone. So
You got to the Bearcat Rumble next year. If you don't win that award, you're out. We'll bring Blaze in, and he's got a year to get the award, and then he's out.
you guys will get that damn Luigi to replace me.
Luigi couldn't replace nothing.
Hey, we do want to thank Johnny Blaze for running our camera Saturday and helping the commentary. He did a
great job. Did a great job.
He talks like he wants to do it more. Or told me anytime.
Yeah, most
let us
definitely.
know.
Yeah, like I said, we might need a replacement for you.
I think. Oh yeah, that's true. You guys better start teaching them how to run this part.
That's true.
Teach somebody how to run that.
Okay, so the CM Punk interview, I think it was planned for here's April 1st, WrestleMania week. He hasn't talked about any of this stuff really at all. He goes on Irwani's show, who Tony Khan hates. So, and
Tony Khan don't like many people.
Well, that's true.
Doesn't Tony Khan hate LaGreca and them now?
Yeah,
LaGreca
he turned on them too once they start having any criticism at all. He can't take any criticism at all. He really can't.
Got him. Oh.
But one thing I thought was interesting Punk talked about is the first time he talked to WWE was the Monday before Survivor Series, which was that Saturday, so the Monday before that. And it was the other Khan. Do you remember his first name, Chris? For WWE? Nick Khan. He called him and talked to him about the Royal Rumble. He said, well, why the Rumble? He said, why can't we do something earlier? And he said, well, don't you have a clause where you can't do anything? He said, no, I don't have anything. He said, I wish I'd have knew that before now. They would have probably called him the night after he got fired. But so they started talks, and he said that he signed the contract right before he walked to Gorilla and went out to the ring that night of Survivor Series. That's when he signed the contract. So I thought that was pretty interesting. He also said in an interview that he thought AEW is a joke and Tony Khan is a clown. He did say he thought Tony Khan was a nice person, but he
not a boss.
Not a boss.
I did see that quote.
He said AEW is not ran like a business or focused on making money. And he said, if you're in this business, that should be what your focus is, to make money. Said when he got into it with Jack Perry backstage there at that big event there in I believe that was in England, if I remember correct. He choked him a little bit. And
Yeah, so I did see a quote where he said, I didn't punch nobody. I just choked somebody a little bit.
he said he choked him. He said he choked him a little bit. He said Samoa Joe told him to stop. He said he stopped. He said he told Tony Khan that this is a joke, and he quit. He said Samoa Joe talked to him because they were supposed to have a match. He went out there and had the match with Samoa Joe. So he went out there and wrestled, and then he got fired. So that was a lot of the parts of the interview. I haven't got to see all of it yet, but that was some of the parts. So I thought it was pretty interesting. Of course, you know, you've heard 2 or 3 different sides. It's probably somewhere in the middle. Probably nobody was right in that situation, but I there's no doubt in my mind that place is not ran like a business or ran like it should be, and that's a big part of the problem. I'd say that's the main problem. They got plenty of talent over there. They paid plenty of money, so that's not an issue. But it's just not being ran the right way. Okay, I got a bracket. It's a 16 man bracket, and these is from top10s.com. The most important people in wrestling history, according to them. And our first one, this is going to be an interesting matchup. Number 1, Vince McMahon against number 16, Eric Bischoff.
Vince.
I want to say, and the topic is what? Most influential?
Most important people in wrestling history.
No, it would have to be Vince.
I mean, Bischoff made a big difference. The fact that WCW helped a lot of wrestlers and get paid more
Well, I'll
money.
be
and
honest.
stuff.
I don't think Bischoff. I ain't seen the other people, but I don't think Bischoff should be
that low. Should be that low.
Be number 16. I think Bischoff was seated kind of low.
Yep, I agree with that.
But he's not near important. He's not near as important to the wrestling business history as
Especially when you see some of the
Vince
names.
McMahon.
Especially when you see some of the names, like one that's number 8, which I'm sure he was very significant. But I went around then, so I really can't relate to that. Next up, well, this was number 8 against number 9. It was Gorgeous George, somebody I don't know a lot about, against number 9, Stu Hart. Who was more important in wrestling history, Stu Hart or Gorgeous George?
Well, Stu Hart was a promoter and a trainer. Gorgeous George broke the barrier for ring entrances.
And he was probably sports entertainment.
Yeah.
First sports entertainment. But when you take Stu Hart, look at the people he trained.
Yeah. Well, hell, he birthed half of them. Fathered half of them. So
that's true. I think
I'm gonna say Stu Hart, but I'll be honest. I know a lot more about Stu Hart than I do.
Well, there's not a lot out there about Gorgeous George. They're talking real early stuff.
Yeah.
The only thing his claim to fame is because he broke that the way a wrestler should look, the normal, and come out wearing the big coats and them funny looking
and like
hair things and the perfume, and had a valet. He was one of the first people to have a valet. And
see, when I was growing up, it was you always heard about the dungeon.
Yeah.
Stu Hart.
Well,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
You was a big Bret
Hart.
Hart.
But that's I was a big Bret Hart fan too. But yeah, I mean, you heard. So
I think Stu Hart too. What do you think, Marcus?
Oh yeah, Stu Hart. It's definitely Stu Hart.
Okay. Next up, number 5. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus number 12, John Cena.
See, now you're talking.
That's a hard one.
Yeah. I'm going to go, and the only reason I'm going to go with Austin because he's the one that brought WWE back to our side. The ratings back to us. This side.
Okay. And I don't disagree with you, and I'm probably going to go with Austin too. But I think the argument for Cena would be he did it for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, he was that guy for 5 years. He was that guy for what, 10 years?
Well, he's still doing it if you think about it.
Yeah. He's still a big representative for.
I think was it a 12? What he was? The 12 seed is that what you had?
Cena was a 12 seed.
That's low. He should be a lot higher than a 12.
Well, on here right now. We got Misery with Austin and Billy Buzz with Cena.
I'm gonna say Austin, but that's tough.
Yeah, I'll go Austin for what he done, but I can't count Cena out either.
Well, they could have went out of business if they don't.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna have to go with Austin, but it's really tight.
But I think Cena should be a lot higher than 12.
Here, yeah. Well, wait till you hear this one. Number 4, Andre the Giant. It's number 13, The Rock.
13.
I say I'm gonna look at different. Andre was such a big piece of wrestling in the 70s and 80s. I mean, he was a main attraction all over the world.
Yeah.
Of course, Rock helped take things to another level, but then again, he wasn't around that long. Well, he's back again now. I understand that, but
I'm gonna go with Andre.
I think I'm going with Andre too. And it's really close. I mean, this is really close stuff here.
Because you're right, he was an attraction, and yeah, he sold tickets, but they knew how to use him.
I'm gonna go with Andre as well because without Andre, the early WrestleManias, without him and Hogan, I mean, that changed the whole business. If that don't happen, who knows where it'd be at now?
I got number 3 against number 14. Number 3, Bruno San Martino against number 14, Mick Foley.
I'll have to go Bruno.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with Bruno, but I can make an argument for Foley because of what he did for the business. I think he helped change the business. He was a big part of the Attitude Era. But yeah, Bruno was so. I mean, he was 60s, 70s,
and he was one of the first guys where didn't have a certain look and was able to get into that top spot. You know, I mean, didn't have the big.
Well, he was pretty big, but he wasn't tall.
Yeah, but he didn't have the built rip physique or
no. He was
stuff.
Natural muscle, natural muscle, yeah. And he sold out arenas, not just MSG, but the Sportatorium and what's the other one?
Boston Gardens. Boston Gardens was a big one. And also, you got to remember, of course, there wasn't near as many TV channels, but back then there were millions and millions of people watching that wrestling on TV.
Yeah.
So I think Bruno also, guys. Okay, next up, number 6 against number 11. This is a tough one. Undertaker 6, Bret Hart 11.
Let me say something. Was you kind of surprised when they started talking the Roman Reigns thing that Bret Hart wasn't part of the champion group up to? They went Hogan, Flair, Taker, Austin, Michaels, Triple H. Bret must not want to be a part of that. They kind of just overlooked him.
Maybe. You might be right.
Anyway, I'm going to go Taker. Was that the other choice?
Yeah, Taker or Bret Hart?
Well, I'll go Taker.
Bret was very big in the history and had some bunch of great matches, but Taker did it longer. And in that streak, I think I can go Taker also. What do you think, Chris? I know you're a big Bret Hart fan.
I might say Taker just because of longevity he had, and I mean how big that streak got. Then you had he was able to keep reinventing himself. You had the American Badass version. I would have to go with Taker.
Next up, number 7, Paul Heyman versus number 10, Shawn Michaels.
Well, I'm going to have to go Heyman.
I think so too. ECW, all the people he's managed, all the people.
Just listen to him. That dude's a genius.
Yes. And no, don't get me wrong, Shawn Michaels has been fantastic for the business too, but no, this ain't just WWE. I've got a name on here that's not. He never was in WWE. So we're saying Heyman.
Well, I say Heyman.
Yeah, I say Heyman.
Okay, last first round matchup. Number 2, Hulk Hogan versus number 15, Vern Gagne. Vern Gagne was a great champion. Had a really great promotion at one time.
Hogan's the one that caused the
But
wrestling in the
Hogan-
world to be where it is today.
Yes. So I think you got to go with Hogan.
I say Hogan.
I mean, Vern was good, and Vern was a part of Hogan, big part of Hogan, but
And
and
real
Ric
quick-
Flair, and Kurt Hennig.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
that's-
got tons of people under his belt, but
Rick, and that's the quick. What about Ric Flair not being on this list?
well, I wrote down a name. I had Pat Patterson. I was surprised he wasn't on that list
Yep.
because he was
well-
his backbone there for a while.
I mean, Flair, to me, I don't know how he's not on this list.
Yeah.
Well, Warren's asking about Jerry Jarrett. He was a good promoter, but he was more. He never had a big, not a huge promotion. Jerry Jarrett was very good though. Von Erichs. Do you think the Von Erich story hurts him?
Mm-hmm.
Everything that happened. If there would have been more success and not all the death, maybe.
Who knows what it would be like if that. I mean, one
I
maybe.
do agree on Cornette.
Cornette's been very influential in this business.
Cornette could be on that list, definitely.
You think Cornette's personality hurts him,
Yeah, I think it could.
especially in the later years? His opinions.
Well, because his opinions, he has these opinions, and he ain't.
Cornette's the
afraid to say
best
it, and
thing.
that's what gets him in trouble.
Yes.
I even saw an interview the other day where G.W.R talked about Cornette was talking about. Because I might not always agree with him, but the man is a wrestling genius.
Yes.
And he goes, we might not have the same opinions, and that's fine. He said, but yeah, he talked about Pat McAfee. JR did talk about how great Pat McAfee is and how he didn't expect McAfee to be this good this quick, and on doing the commentary and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
I don't think Jerry Jarrett. I think Jerry Jarrett was great, but he was just more regional.
More territorial.
I think he was fantastic, but I just think he was just too regional. Okay, next up we got Vince. Number 1 Vince versus number 9 Stu Hart. I don't think it's close.
Vince.
I mean, it's
If you ever hear any of these people, did you ever notice they all ended up going to Calgary at one point or another?
Yep.
Before they really became good.
A lot of them. That's true. I mean, he influenced a bunch of careers. There's no doubt about that.
But yeah, it's still got to be Vince. Look where we're at today. That's because of Vince.
Back in the early WWF days, you guys might know this if they did or not, because they didn't have like the NXT and stuff. Did like when Vince had young guys? Did he send them to Stu?
He sent him to a place in Illinois or Ohio, OVW.
They did send people. They did send people to Calgary, USWA.
Heartland, wasn't that one of them? Heartland that had Les Thatcher.
Yep.
Didn't he trade a bunch of them?
And then you had OVW with Danny Davis, but they had places together. But in the early '80s, there was people that were sent to Calgary to Stu's territory.
Okay, that's all I always thought.
Yeah.
That there was some people that got like sent there. I knew like about the OVW and other stuff. I was wondering if there was.
That's a good name, Tony Onoki. It's not,
Yeah, well, that seemed like true.
That's a good name that Warren brought up. Okay, we got Vince. Next up, we got Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, number 5 versus number 4, Andre the Giant.
I'm still have to go Austin because he's the one that saved it.
Let me ask you something, and I don't disagree, but I'll pull an Austin on you guys. What if Andre hadn't existed? Would wrestling made it to that point?
Well, yeah, I think it would.
You think it would have?
Because he was an attraction, as you put it. He was good for the promote. Vince Sr. knew what he had and knew how to use him. Don't saturate a field with him. Have him go once or twice a year. But if he didn't exist, I have a feeling there would have been somebody that would have had that spot. So yeah, I think we'd still be where we're at. WrestleMania 3 wouldn't happen though.
Well, it probably would. Well, but if WrestleMania 3 don't happen, where does WrestleMania go from there? Would it still be going?
Yeah, because I still think WrestleMania 2 is a flop.
Yeah,
He had to do something to pull that out of the ashes, or he'd been done.
Yeah, if 3 wouldn't have been successful, and it was on the back of. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were some good matches on there, but without Hogan and Andre, I don't know if
Yeah,
it
well,
would have
that's what
drew and would
sold
have
that.
got the coverage that they got.
Yeah, that's what sold that. I agree.
But I agree with you. I think because Austin saved the day in a lot of ways, and the other guys helped. But yeah, Austin definitely. Because and the reason I say that is because you talked to other wrestlers who was around that time, Bully Ray and them guys. He said, "Hey, it was because of Austin." He said, "We'd go up and thank Austin for the house." He said all the wrestlers did. They were drawn because of Austin. So there was other guys helping, but it was Austin.
Hmm.
So when I hear wrestlers say that, well, I disagree with you on that. More on two. Two wasn't great. WrestleMania 2 wasn't great.
It was
One
terrible.
was good, but again, one was the first of its kind. So and then 2, I don't think was that good. I don't think if 3 wouldn't have been a huge success, Vince could have been in trouble. That's just my opinion. And I think Andre Hogan match sold it. I don't know. Could Steamboat and Savage sold it?
I don't think so. Even though they took the show, I don't think
Yeah,
that would have
yeah.
sold the event.
Not at 92,000 people.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have Bruno Sammartino, number 3, versus number 6, Undertaker. Who's had a bigger impact in wrestling history?
I'm gonna say Undertaker.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Taker.
I think that streak and longevity. I mean, he didn't have near the title reigns or anything like that or the days, but in him reinventing himself during so many decades, because he came up in 90 and was still relevant in 2010. It was still relevant after that. So I think it's got to be Taker. Oh, Billy Buzz, he's out there East Coast. He got to go Bruno. It's close. I mean, I'm not saying by a long shot, but I can make an argument for Bruno for all the sellouts he did and everything. But
But
I
again,
gotta go with Taker.
then now you're talking regional again. If you really think about it,
That's true. But he did wrestle. But he would wrestle in the NWA territory. He wrestled in those territories too. He just didn't stay. But yeah, I agree with you. Okay, next up, number 7, Paul Heyman. Number 2, Hulk Hogan. That's close from what people think.
I'm still gonna have to go Hogan because we wouldn't be here.
That's the thing.
I'm gonna say Hogan, but I do think it's closer than what some people would think.
Well, Heyman's had a big influence on the business. In certain ways, I think maybe more influence than Hogan. But it's just hard to get over. The WrestleMania, and he was so big. It's just hard to get over that. But what about ECW? What if ECW don't happen? Do we have an attitude area? Does WCW do some of the things that they do? Because WCW and NWE took from ECW.
Yeah.
Wrestling would be very different. I mean, I don't, gotta give Heyman a lot of credit. But I think you got to go Hogan. Okay, this is interesting. We're going to battle again. Number 1 against number 5, Vince versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Well, Vince is the one that created Stone Cold Steve Austin per se, so we're going to have to go Vince. And for
Let me
what?
ask you something. With everything that's happened now in 20 years, do you think Vince will be so tarnished that he won't be considered for this kind of stuff?
I don't think so.
Nah, that's hard to say. Although I have a feeling they're going to dig up more dirt.
Well, it's off topic a little bit, but I guess a letter's been brought out from that the girl that's accusing him, that a love letter that she wrote Vince. and I guess that's been introduced. So now she's saying, but I was coerced into doing that. So, like I said, she had a relationship with him. It went bad, and I think she was all for all that stuff. And then when things went bad, she turned on him. I don't think she's as big as victim. I'm not saying there's not victims out there. I'm not saying that. So before I get canceled, but I think that she's not completely innocent. Let's just say that. That's just my opinion. And I'm not taking up for Vince at all. What do you think, Chris, Vince, and Austin?
I gotta go with Vince.
Okay, we got Taker, who was number 6, versus number 2, Hulk Hogan. I want to go with Taker, but
Now, how is that possible? What was the last bracket? I thought that was Vince and Hogan.
no, that was Vince and Austin.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I thought, well, what the hell are you doing here? Okay. Hogan and Taker. Well, I'm going to still go Hogan.
I think so too. I want to go with Taker, but
Yeah, I think I would go Hogan. But honestly, I think number 1 should have been Vince, and number 2 should have been Austin. And that should have been in the.
you think so? Oh, you think Austin over Hogan?
Yeah, because
Well, he's just mad because Hogan never wanted to see Chris.
That wasn't me
the
either.
reason I say that is because without the Austin and McMahon feud, and McMahon turned in Mr. McMahon and the Stone Cold feud, WCW might have won that.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
And WWE might have been gone. That's the only reason I say that, because it was them two. It was, to me, it was them two together.
Okay.
That kind of is what propelled it. Because Austin got big, but the reason he got so big also was because he had Mr. McMahon. He was,
Had that villain. You got to have the villain.
people tuned in on Monday nights to watch Stone Cold hit his balls.
Yes,
So
that's true.
that's
true. That's true. Okay. Number 1, Vince versus number 2, Hogan.
He was doing what everybody wanted to do at work, but couldn't. Smack your boss in the mouth.
Now, this is the argument. People will say, okay, could have Vince did it without Hogan? We'll never know. Because I don't know who at that time could have been the guy.
That's true. Hogan did have Saturday morning cartoons, and
Yep.
I mean, Hogan was big. I grew up with Hogan.
Well, you know whose idea?
Savage.
That's true, but you know whose idea was to have them cartoons? It wasn't Hogan's. It was Vince. Vince was the one who made that happen. Hogan wasn't smart enough to, let's have a cartoon. It was Vince that had all those ideas, or his team. I think a lot of it was Vince. Vince was creative. He's a creative genius, also probably an evil genius and probably a dirty, rotten genius, but it was a genius.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it wasn't for Vince, we wouldn't be where we're at. And Hogan had a part of it, but Hogan was only a chapter.
I would think that Hogan. I think Vince would have found a way, even without Hogan. They were perfect together. Don't get me wrong, but I think Vince was so driven, he would have found somebody. I'm not saying I know who it would have been.
Well, because we know how things turned out, but you're right. It's just like if Andre wasn't there, I have a feeling there would have been somebody in that spot. We just know him as Andre, but there's probably another one they could have used.
So I think it's going to be Vince, guys. That was interesting, though, because I mean, who do you guys think on there was really, really low? I agree with you. I think Bischoff was low at 16. I think Ric Flair should have been on the list.
I think Cena was low at 12.
Who do you think to put Flair on that list? Who do you take off? Think Vern?
No, what they should have done is put Flair on there and not even have Vince on there because it was obvious that Vince.
Yeah, but if Flair's on there, then Hogan's going to win probably.
Like I said, Vern did all right, but
do you think because Gorgeous George was the first entertainment type, kind of, do you think that's why he's on the list?
Oh, it has to be. And yeah, Gorgeous, that's all he has. That's his only claim to fame. Because if you ever seen him wrestle, even by today's them standards, he wasn't that good.
No, do you think he's kind of high at 8, don't you?
I think he shouldn't be on the list. That's the guy they should have put Flair with. Flair was a much better at it than Gorgeous George.
Okay, let me ask you this question: who would you take, Flair and Stu Hart? If we put Flair in at 8 out of Gorgeous George, you'd have to take Flair over Hart.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chris?
I think so.
Jared did a lot. I agree. You just don't get the credit because he was regional.
So let's go this route. Stu versus Vern. They both produced a heck of a lot of talent.
Yeah, they did.
Oh shit! You did. Busted my knee on the bottom of that.
Well, it's been there all the time. I think Vern. I think Vern.
Take him out or better?
I think Vern would have to go over Stu.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. Yeah.
Bigger stage. Calgary is not a big stage. Calgary, he trained a bunch of people. Don't get me wrong, but Vern trained a lot of people too, and got a lot more people on TV. I think Vern.
Yeah, I will have to go that route too.
Think Brett was low at 11?
Brett's another one that he did his time, but was he really that much of an influence?
You think Sean was ahead of Brett at 10 and Brett at 11 because of most people think Sean's probably a little bit better in the ring. You think that's why it was?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not a Shawn Michaels fan, but I'm not doubting. Sean had it. He was good.
We need to bring that question up about Sean and Rock and see if there's anybody that would agree with that more on Christian Cash. He's arguing with everybody The Rock was better in the ring than Shawn Michaels. And he couldn't find anybody that agreed with him.
No, he couldn't find anybody who agreed with him.
So if you want to add everything into the picture, then I think there's an argument. You know, mic skills and everything else. But if it's just in ring, I don't think you got an argument, buddy.
I'll tell you a guy that if things keep going the way they are, it'd be a name that would have to be on that list, and that's Triple H.
Well, give it 5 years, and that could be.
Not,
I mean, it won't even
not
take
just
that
what he's not just what it's like his wrestling career, but what he's doing as the man in charge the last couple of years.
Well, and then he was.
And I mean, the company's in the probably the best position it's been in.
And it was his idea to do NXT.
Yeah.
It was his
idea.
idea.
He's the one started NXT.
It was his idea. It wasn't Vince's. That was his idea. NXT was his idea.
Was it the Performance Center his idea too?
Yes. All that was his idea.
Yeah. See, I wasn't, again, I'm not doubting Triple H was good, but I wasn't a Triple H fan either. But I am now for what he's doing now.
Yes.
I mean, if you go by like important or influential, whatever,
yeah,
he's working his way up that list. In my opinion,
he goes another 10 years, he'd be top 5.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will.
When you got, because like even in his career, like D-Generation X, I mean, some of that stuff.
Well,
I mean,
you guys will find
like
out.
when they went to WCWO show all them takes. I mean,
well, you guys find out he worked very, very one-on-one a lot with Bray Wyatt. And he also talked about how difficult it was to work with Bray because Bray was such a genius. They would start something and they think it was a great idea, and then Bray would want to trash it and say, "No, this is better." And so we've spent 60 hours on this. We're not trashing this, Bray, because Bray he never stopped thinking. He's just an idea guy. I mean, he's just a creative genius. But he said sometimes that was his
He didn't want to finish an idea out.
He didn't want to finish the idea. Before he could finish the idea, he wanted a new one. And you can't spend millions of dollars on something and then no. He said that Triple H said that was a struggle at times.
You know, if you ever listen to Greg Gagne too, I mean, I know I keep bringing him up. That guy, he got his spot because of his daddy, but that guy's a genius for the business as well. If you ever just listen to him talk.
This is something you might be interested. It's going to be on YouTube. It just was announced today that Arn Anderson, Magnum TA, and Greg Gagne are starting their own YouTube network.
Oh, cool.
And Magnum TA's got his own show, podcast type thing. So does Arn Anderson. And then Greg Gagne and Magnum TA's got one together. And it's called the Four Horsemen Network. And I don't know if it started officially yet, but they announced it today. Arn Anderson did.
Well, I'll have to listen to that. I like those guys, all of them.
Yes. So I thought that was pretty cool. They announced that today.
You know, sadly, the only stuff I ever seen Magnum TA was off old matches because I think he got hurt when I was a senior in high school. We hadn't had NWA yet. Wasn't able to see it.
Do you think he could be the number one, what could have been? If you stop and think about everybody.
One of them, yes. He's one of them, yes. And David Von Erich would have been another.
Yes.
And Owen Hart. You got to throw him in there too. There's.
Magnum TA, I mean, they had said he was going to get the NWA championship. It was decided. And then he had that accident.
Yep. And see David Von Erich the same way.
Yeah,
I bet Owen Hart would have been a champion within a year. I bet, yeah. There's a few of those guys out there, and those are three good ones.
Yeah, I think them are three of the main ones. I'm trying to think of somebody else, but yeah, I think them three are real. Yeah, I agree. Well, guys, I think that's it for tonight. We'll be making an announcement. Chris will make a post, but we're going to do a special on Thursday night. Haven't decided on the time quite yet. A WrestleMania special. We're going to have some special guests. We're going to have Warren Misery on. We're going to have Austin, of course, Marcus, like usual, me and Chris, and I think also
Lynn.
Big Glenn.
We'd have a raffle, but Glenn would win it, so we're not doing raffles.
We'll have he'll probably have a pizza party, but we won't be invited.
Yeah, we'd have door prizes, but Glenn would win them, so we're not doing any of that. So.
Yeah, we wouldn't have a chance.
Okay, so what's the topics again? Your top 5 wrestling matches and 5 top WrestleMania shows altogether, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you do top 3 to 5, either one on those, and then also we're going to go through the match card and talk about the matches and make predictions.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us. Please.
Hey, that's an idea. We could do a contest. We could say we could do a contest of all 6 of us. We'll set Glenn up and say whoever gets the most predictions right wins, and they got to buy all of us dinner. And Glenn's going to win, so he'll have to buy all of us dinner.
Yeah, well, what's he going to buy us? That's the problem.
Well, that's probably a pizza to split. He'll go to Word Pro, win a pizza, and give it to us.
Oh, he gets something from NASCAR.
Yep. Okay, I'm done now.
Oh, hit that. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like and follow Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram on Gonzo Sports Room. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this podcast forever, and this is the worst damn podcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.